Greetings, free thinkers of YouTube. I am back. Welcome to the Hoggcast. I've been away for numerous weeks. I've had personal issues to deal with. Just being someone who thinks about the society we are living in at the moment and how bad things are, it kind of weighs down on you, and the futility or the apparent futility of trying to do anything to help our fellow man. But I'm back now. Now today we have a clip to watch as usual, and thanks by the way to the people who were inquiring in the comment sections of older videos where I was, what happened to me. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day, because you obviously got no notification that I was uploading because I wasn't uploading. So to take the time out of your day to check if I'm okay, I appreciate that. So from me to these guys here, one is an interpreter, one is a man who managed to get to the airport in Kabul in Afghanistan. Now, the first priority is American citizens, of course it is. However, there is a secondary priority, which is those people who helped the Americans and British as well, the interpreters, okay, and their families who have basically been abandoned to dig their own graves. And I use that term deliberately because I remember a video I watched of a group of people. This is back in the you-know-what days, the you-know-what organisation that had laid waste to Syria, for example. I'm sure you know who I'm on about. This group of people who were abandoned by their American allies were literally forced to dig their own graves, and I watched that video. So what's in store for the people of Afghanistan, especially those who helped the Americans? Well, let's listen to these two stories from these two gentlemen here. So we'll get into this video now. If you haven't yet, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and most importantly, share this video around if you find this video informative. Let's go. Okay.
Of Senator Cotton, Syed is a college student who was brutally attacked by the Taliban while trying to get to the airport. And Muhammad, whose identity we are keeping hidden, is an interpreter and an American citizen who fled with his family. Syed, tell us about your story.
Yes, so my story is that I tried to go to the airport as I got an email from the embassy that said that I had to make my way to the Karzai airport, and as I made my way there was already 1,000 people there. I mean, people that were there from the first day that was inside the airport. They stayed outside when they were even kicked out. A lot of people that was not documented, and a lot of US citizens. But we had gate passes and everything. We went through the gates, we went to the gates, we went through the crowd and went to the gates, but then the Taliban, and there was 3 gates. So first we tried the the Afghan army gate. They looked at our passports, they looked at our citizenship and gate pass. They still wouldn't let us in, even though we had gate passes. They would hit us with the back of a machine gun. They would hit us with some stones and everything. So
you can see down there they're actually studying water. I'm not sure if that's a dry moat or I don't think it's a ditch. I'm not sure what it is, but it's something on the outskirts of the Kabul airport. I'm guessing it's a moat. Did I call it a dry moat earlier? I don't think it's a moat. I think it's a moat of some sort. Anyway, look, that's beside the point. The reason why I stopped the video here is I wanted to try and verbalise what I feel when I look at the picture on the left. It's dusty. You saw a minute ago there was another clip. It's war torn. There's buildings falling down, trash strewn everywhere, and so on and so on. And then he's obviously in America now. You can see here skyscrapers reaching up to the sky, beautiful buildings, clean buildings, safe city, relatively speaking, certainly compared to where he came from. And you can't help but see why they risk their lives to help Americans and British and any other NATO partners. Now look, I'm not stupid. I should imagine you're not. you know as well as I do, they're not doing it for the goodness of their heart. But that's the trade-off you get, especially when you go into a 20-year never-ending conflict in Middle Eastern countries. And the only good thing that's come from all of this train wreck is the fact that people now, even quote-unquote ordinary people, see it for what it is now, right? Even quote-unquote ordinary people on the street, man and woman, know that this isn't... I mean, I'm talking about Middle Eastern wars here. They know that this isn't like, oh, we're going to go into the Middle East to save the world. Look, we know it's not about that now. Some of us have known it for a long time. The great seething masses have unfortunately only just discovered it, but at least they know.
We tried 2-3 times, couple times they would hit women. I mean, we saw children dying there. We saw everybody getting on the ground. We saw the air forces, the Taliban and the US, the Afghan army shooting on the ground, shooting on the air. They even used to throw a flashbang. So we tried several days. We tried 2-3 days to get through the gates, but we were supposed to be the priority because we...
So this is what I mean. Look, trash everywhere, broken vehicles, broken buildings, broken people. Okay? You can't blame people for wanting to go from that to that. From left to right. Yeah? You can't really blame the people for wanting to do that.
We were the US citizens, but I guess apparently they would let people in that they knew, so...
They would let people in that they knew. Now, you see, this is starting now to touch on the issues with Middle East culture, right? And what I mean is, they're going to help themselves over a NATO country that is pushing some very un-Afghan things. You see, it's alright for us to talk about postmodernism and yay, you know, yay for this achievement and yay for that achievement and this milestone and that glass ceiling's been shattered and so on and so on. But you don't seem... or there's people that don't seem to understand that there are entire cultures made up of people who don't want that glass ceiling being broken. Even the so-called beneficiaries of the glass ceiling being broken, they never asked for it. They never asked for it. They never asked for any of it. Just for 20 years, you've been there, in their country, in their culture, just sat there like a very expensive, unmoving brick, and for what?
Mainly they target Hazaras, which they, you know, how the way we speak, the dialogue and everything, they would only... Yes.
Yeah, so you feel lucky that...
One quick final point on this guy's story. He was saying there about the dialect, the way they speak. Now this is another thing that the average person just doesn't get, yeah? Is that there's a lot of... There is a lot of... Okay, look, put it this way. Multicultural ideals aren't actually new. They've been tried a lot. A lot of the countries, especially in the Middle East, are melting pots. Okay? This guy said, or he was about to say before he got cut off by Hannity, that because of his accent and his dialect, that they weren't going to let him through.
That you have gotten out, correct?
Yes, I mean, we literally lost hope. We went 3 times, we still couldn't get through the crowd.
See that vehicle? State of the art. They didn't buy that. They took it. Okay? The Afghan army, they failed. They just fled. They didn't put up a fight. And the truth of the matter why they did that is they come from their own culture. Okay? They don't want all of this, the stuff that's being pushed in Afghanistan. They don't want. That's something that politicians from the West don't get. They don't get it. They don't want it. Okay?
And it was just impossible for us to get out with the women and children that we had.
Let me go to Mohammed. Mohammed, you were an interpreter. You'd gone back for a funeral of a family member in Afghanistan. Then you were stranded there. You still have family there. You helped the Americans out. Now, all of that data that would probably identify you and connect you to your family is in the hands of the Taliban. That's got to concern you tonight.
That's possible, although they were mass wiping hard drives, giving it the Hillary treatment. They were just destroying, and I really do mean destroying hard drives, because they knew it would fall into their hands. I should imagine some have, but a lot of them have been destroyed.
Yeah, actually, sir, most people are worried about his family, about those friends and family which they were stuck in the gates and they can't enter the gates. Yeah, we really worry about our family, and most my relatives are still waiting to enter the gates with complete documents, but
I've been studying that water that whole time. It just reminds me of that scene where they were all trying to jump on the plane, and those two people who climbed, I think they climbed into the wheel arch or something, they fell from the sky. I'm sure you've seen the footage. That's what fear does. That's what fear does. The idea of a government is not to go and sit at taxpayers' expense, extreme expense, in another country half a world away for 20 years. Okay? The idea of a government is you stop whatever's happening over there from reaching you. Your people. The people who, by the grace of their own heart, voted you into the power you so craved. And then you ignore the people, and then you go and plonk yourselves at the people's expense in a country like Afghanistan. And then you stay in America, you stay in Afghanistan for 20 years, and then you decide to leave in one day.
most people are waiting and try to enter the gate without any documents. That's why they make problem for everyone.
Yeah.
And what does that tell you? What does that tell you?
And the odds are getting less every hour, as I'm sure you're aware, and which I feel terrible for. Syed, thank you. Mohammed, thank you for sharing your stories.
And that was 2 stories from 2 survivors who have fortunately managed to get their way out of their own home country. You know, they probably, I would guarantee actually, that they can never go back to their own, visit their family if there's any left there, or their town, even if their towns exists anymore. You know, just untold collateral damage from a conflict that achieved what? A 20-year-old conflict, unjust, in my opinion, that achieved what? Nothing, really. The people who we elect in the West continue to screw things up, and they've been doing it for a long time. Anyway, look, I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't yet, please like the video, subscribe to the Hoggcast here, share the video around, that's important. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Thank you very much for being patient. I know I've been away for numerous weeks now. I wasn't sure if I was going to come back, but I thought now's the time. You know, chomping at the bit to say something after I've been seeing so many things happening in current affairs that I just thought I had to speak on. Anyway, look, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.